If you're looking for a house in Alameda or just entering the market, you've probably encountered this, the teaser price, or as we like to say, the strategic price. In this video, I'm going to help you solve the teaser price guessing game. And if you haven't been directly involved in it, you've probably read about it, homes selling for hundreds of thousands and sometimes $1 million over asking price with crazy bidding wars. I've been doing my own in-depth analysis of every neighborhood in Alameda, and I'm going to give you some insight into which neighborhoods are the highest and lowest overbidding ones to get you closer to the answer of what to bid. The fact is, we've had two markets for a little while now, homes going for crazy amounts over asking and a stable, sometimes softening market. I'm going to talk about both, why the bidding wars happen and how I help people solve the puzzle of what to bid, and also when it's not happening and how you can leverage that as well. After 20 years in this business, I have both won and lost in bidding wars and been on both sides of it, the listing and the buying, so I have the experience and the battle scars to share. My name is Philip Kaake and I'm with Compass Real Estate here in Alameda. If you've been renting in Alameda, Berkeley, or Oakland, you got tired of San Francisco and you've been saving for years and you're finally ready to jump in and buy a home, then this is for you. Then you hit the wall. You find a house you love online, then you see what comparable homes actually sold for. Or you get into the market and make an offer only to discover it sold for $100,000 or $200,000 or more over asking, and much more than you could have afforded. Now, I've had many people ask me why we do this, and I'll admit I've never been a fan. It's not a transparent process and it causes a lot of stress and uncertainty for both buyers and agents. I've heard buyers describe it as agents artificially pricing it low to create a bidding war. And honestly, a lot of the time that's exactly what's happening. The list price in a lot of these situations isn't a price, it's an invitation. It's the opening bid in an auction, not the sale price. Once you start to frame it that way, it starts to make sense. There's a starting price and a hope there's enough demand to bid it up. However, in an inventory constrained environment, it does work, and my job as an agent is to represent my client's best interest, whether I'm helping them sell or buy. As an example, the San Francisco market has now seen more homes go for $1 million over asking than at any other point in its history. A recent Compass report showed that 44 homes sold for over $1 million over asking compared to just 8 the year before. The hot desirable homes in Alameda still attract multiple offers and overbidding. Here's an example in Alameda where one sold for $700,000 over asking, 65% over list. That's a true outlier. However, 10 or 20% or more is not unusual. And it's not just price. This strategy also gets buyers competing on terms as well, with fewer or no contingencies. No inspection contingencies means it's a more solid deal for the seller. And I've even seen people waive their loan and appraisal, even with a finance offer. It's more stressful for everyone. Before we get started, let me tell you what I see people try and why it usually fails. Trying to lean on a Zillow estimate doesn't work because those tools can be off. I don't know what Zillow is actually looking at, and it's the same with any other online valuation tool. I often don't know what the comparables are. Here's how I actually help people solve the puzzle. This is what I do differently to help people land on a realistic bidding price. It starts with understanding the neighborhood, then the house. If I have clients that are looking to bid on a place, I always run a full comparable market analysis, but before that I do a neighborhood level analysis, pulling MLS data to get a sense of the median selling price and the range of what the overbidding looks like in that specific neighborhood. I've taken MLS data and broken down every neighborhood in Alameda by what percentage of homes sold over, at, and under list price, along with the median and the extreme high and low ranges. As an example, in the Alameda Bronze Coast, 86% of homes sold over asking. In the East End, almost 80% did. The West End had the lowest percentage, and overall in Alameda, 66% of the homes sold over list price. The most extreme overbid was in the East End. There was a home that listed for about $1.1 million, and it sold for $1.81. 65% over and $700,000 over list price. On the other end, a small house on the West End sold for 25% under list, almost $200,000 less than list price. These outliers are tough ones to figure out. If someone has more money and can waive more contingencies, they're going to win. What I hope to do is get you a little closer to your goal. This isn't a perfect science, but it gives us real data points to strategize around so you understand the range of scenarios instead of fixating on one number. After the data, I rely on my experience and frankly my gut. After 20 years, I've developed instincts about pricing. Some homes hit that perfect combination of condition, location, and mojo and command a premium. And some don't, regardless of what sellers expect. I had a listing in Alameda, a beautiful Victorian with an extra large backyard, but it was right next to a 3-story apartment building. That was a real drag on the price, and I even had an agent say that was a deal killer for his clients. It's something you can't change, and a similar home nearby that came on the market at the same time didn't have those drawbacks, sold for $100,000 more, and got more offers. The first step is good communication with the listing agent. This is one of the most important and least talked about parts of buying a home. A good buyer's agent builds goodwill on the other side that can genuinely matter when the listing agent evaluates offers with their client. I'm not claiming it's the difference between winning and losing, but reliable agents with a good reputation stand out. I've won offers when my client wasn't the highest because the other agent liked me. This is pretty rare, but it did happen. Or because I had a good relationship with an agent that got me a little more information when it mattered. Of course, I've also lost in bidding wars, so I've been on both sides of it. Sometimes it's as simple as someone else just having more money. First thing to do is find out the seller's actual motivation. Are they relocating on a deadline, already carrying 2 mortgages? A motivated seller with a tight timeline behaves differently than one who isn't. And that's something you can only learn by asking the right questions. The other part of this is I'll tell you when not to bid. If a house requires you to waive inspections and gamble on a 100-year-old foundation you haven't fully vetted, I'll say so, even if it means walking away. My job isn't to get you into a house, it's to get you into the right house. At Compass, we also have private exclusives and coming soon homes you won't see anywhere else. If you're interested, reach out and let's talk about what you're looking for. Now, everything so far has been about competitive overbid situations, but right now we're also seeing more homes go past their offer date without selling, stay on the market longer, and more price reductions. That's where you have some leverage. What I do is I read the pattern, not just the price. How many days has it been on the market? Has the offer date been pushed? Is this a hot pocket, East End, Bronze Coast, Gold Coast, where 20 to 50% over is normal? Or is this a softer corner of the market where the strategic price is closer to the real price? Even here, it's important to find out what the seller's expectations actually are and pay attention to time on market and showing activity, especially once a home's been sitting for 20 days or more. But I've also had situations with the listing agent have been caught off guard by expectations the sellers didn't express, so that can happen as well. Once you understand the mechanics, the teaser price, the seller's real motivation, and which pockets of Alameda are the most competitive right now versus which ones are softening, you go from guessing to actually having a strategy. Whether you have a specific location in mind or you're still figuring out your price range, reach out and let's talk about the right approach for you. If you're looking in Alameda, I have over 20 years of experience helping people find and win the right home here. If you'd like to know more, you can reach out and we can discuss your goals. No pressure, no hard sell. Just find out if we're a good fit. If you found this video informative, I hope you'll share it. I always appreciate hearing your comments. My name is Kaake and I'm with Compass Real Estate here in Alameda, and I'll see you on the next one.